A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 201st episode of the Together for Education webinar brought to you by Notebook. As we completed our 200th episode with enormous love and support from you all, we took some pause to sit, think, and prepare ourselves even better for the much awaited season 2 of this very prestigious webinar series. It was a warm summer evening back in 2020 when we here at Notebook decided to launch a platform for the educators to connect meaningfully on discussing problems they were facing with the rising need of digital education and online learning and arrive at common solutions. Little did we know that day about this platform growing magnificently big, both vertically and horizontally. So thank you all once again for supporting us and look forward to your gracious presence in all our upcoming episodes. Let's discuss extremely vibrant topics here, like digital learning, NEP assessment, extracurricular topics like sports and theatre, topics like school finance and management, and even evolved topics like mental health. Today, we have a very important topic, parents' role during holidays. Holidays constitute a very important part of a child's life. As we grew up navigating the pressure of our growing up years, the fondest memories of the holidays still serve us with a daily dose of happiness. Let's hear from the experts today. Our first speaker on this topic is Mr. Philip Burrett. Mr. Burrett retired as the Deputy Headmaster from the illustrious Doon School in Dehradun after 44 years of serving in education across various institutions. Mr. Burrett served the Doon School as Housemaster, Head of Department, Dean of Activities, Dean of Student Welfare, Deputy Headmaster, Second Master, and Acting Headmaster. With great distinction, he also carried out a visioning exercise for the Doon School in the year 2011 through an in-depth study of a number of British public schools and various schools in the US. Mr. Burrett qualified as a leadership trainer at Wellington College, UK in the year 2000. He is also an athlete, an adventurer, and a naturalist. And we here at Notebook are privileged to have Mr. Burrett as our senior advisor. Sir, thank you so much for being here today. A very good evening, and over to you, please.
Thank you, Gauri. Thank you for that introduction. I hope I am audible.
Absolutely, sir. But
Yes.
a little low on your voice, I think.
Okay, so I'll just, is it better? Is it better now?
Yes, sir, it's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
fine.
so thank you so much and a very good evening to everyone there at Notebook, as well as our guests who've tuned in and our experts. Yes, we've just finished our summer break and most of us are ready to get back to school. You know, all children look forward to their 3 to 4 months of holiday after strenuous term, and so do we teachers. But parents, you know, for many parents, this is a wonderful time to be with their children. But parents also find this a nightmare period because this is the time when kids bring their friends home. There are footballs around the ground and muddy boots on the carpets. Many parents, as you can imagine, clamor for a lot of homework so their kids can be kept busy. But some parents believe that holiday is a break from school and that there should be no homework. I'm sure there's a midway point between these two extremes. I think a holiday is a time for parents to help learning continue in another sort of way. It's also a time to connect and spend quality time with children. There are visits to museums, to art galleries, zoos, places of historical and tourist interest. Kids, I think, need to connect with the wider family, especially grandparents. And holidays are a good time to connect with the wider family. A lot of parents spend a lot of money on expensive tours, but there is little to gain from this if you spend your time in a 5-star hotel or a resort, in the swimming pool, if you get up at 11 o'clock in the morning and just hang around the hotel. Many families, I think, do well to send their children on adventure camps for a few weeks and to raft, climb hills, and just get along with other children outside their normal milieu. I highly recommend adventure camps for children because there's a lot of learning that takes place. There's a lot of learning opportunities at these camps. Parents, often prompted by schools, encourage their children to get into summer jobs and internships. This again is a wonderful way for children to grow outside their normal routine school life. They take up hobbies. I think children, I've seen them from skating to swimming, photography, music classes. This is the time to learn something new, and so that you get back to school with a new hobby, a new interest. I think one of the best things that parents can do is to help their kids read during the holidays. So I think drawing up a reading list is a wonderful way of augmenting a child's learning. And even watching movies, they could draw up a movie list, and sitting and watching a movie either in a hall with the popcorn and ice cream thrown in, or even looking through a Netflix series would be a wonderful way for parents to connect with their children. Many children join book clubs and spend their time reading. Holidays, I think, are also a time to reinforce good habits in the home. Children should be taught to help families with the cooking, with the washing up, hanging out of clothes, keeping the car clean, maintenance, helping with the house pet, and to just see if there's a way of helping dad and mom. This again is a great connect, especially for girls who help their mothers in the kitchen. Uh, what I did mention was, I was against homework schedules being, hundreds of sums and lots of essays to write and a lot of science chapters to go through. But I think that a little homework with a difference is not a bad thing, because there's a great deal of forgetting, especially in children below class 9. And there's a great deal of forgetting in the holidays. And so keeping in touch with the academic work is not a bad idea. However, the homework should be of a different nature. It's not going to be normal, routine, rote, mugging notes. It's got to be more research on topics of interest. It's got to be, conducting interviews and surveys, doing experiments on pollution, the velocity of water in a stream using floating balls and stopwatches, collecting of rocks and feathers, downloading climate data and drawing graphs, making photo albums of their holidays, writing a diary, keeping a diary. Also visiting banks and hospitals and hotels, from a career point of view, especially if they have people who are involved with these professions. I think this is an important way to help the careers of these children. I remember when I was in school, I just loved homework which involved collecting caterpillars and seeing them turn into butterflies in dark, moist shoe boxes, or the germination of seeds that I did in the kitchen, and wait for those early little green shoots to spring out of the soil. It's a great thrill for young people. In short, I'd say that there are many learning opportunities, and I think families need to connect with their children while having fun at the same time. All experiential learning and travel advances a child's overall education. Meeting people, seeing new places, and being thrown into new situations, which I think the parents should do, is wonderful learning. I personally believe that while a holiday is a break from school and the routine, there should also be discipline that is enforced in the house, because I think it's important that we connect with routine, with ritual, with rhythm. This, children love that. Okay, and I think parents will be missing a great opportunity to inculcate good habits if they don't if they don't make their children get up early, take the dog for a walk, get up for that early swim. There is a lot of discipline that parents should and can inculcate. Parents should also make a daily routine for the holiday, jointly by consulting with the children, because children are more likely to keep a schedule if they're involved in the making of it. Holiday is also used, I think, to deeply connect, with parents, as I said, because during term time, a lot of parents have such a busy schedule that children miss out on being with their parents. So just reading to them, reading bedtime stories, listening to their stories of the term that has just gone by. These give parents and children a wonderful bonding experience. There have to be sacrifices made in terms of money and time to reconnect with children. Finally, I'd say that as a teacher, when I got back to school after the holidays, I always ask them how they spent their holidays. And I got many different children talking about their lovely experiences and the things they did. But what deeply saddened me sometimes was to hear some children simply say that they stayed at home because their parents were busy and they never went anywhere. And this compared to some of the other children who had a holiday and had so much fun. It really saddened me because for me, it was like that their parents never had that time. And so in summary, I'd say that the parents' role is very important to make the connection with their students, with their wards, advance their learning in different ways, make sure that good habits are inculcated. And of course, if there is homework to be done, make sure the homework is ready for the start of term. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that that sets the ball rolling, Dogari. All the best and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those wonderful deliberations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker on this topic is Mr. Achin Bhattacharyya, founder Notebook. A chartered accountant by training, Achin was a director at Deloitte prior to starting Notebook. He has worked in India and abroad in various senior capacities in GE, PwC, KPMG, and Deloitte. Achin is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, a fellow of the ICAI, a member of CP Australia and CP Ireland, and a member of CIMA UK. He's also the recipient of the prestigious Indian Achievers Award. An avid reader and a passionate traveler, Achin has keen interests in economics, history, literature, and philosophy. He's a regular speaker at various forums and chambers of commerce, and also contributes articles to numerous publications regularly. He is also on the board of some of the most renowned corporates and contributes significantly to their brand strategies. Achin, a very good evening, and over to you, please.
Thanks, Gauri. Good evening, everyone. Gauri, am I audible?
Absolutely.
With great pleasure, I once again welcome all of you to today's session. We are meeting after a gap of few months, but it really seems very long. Indeed, here at Notebook, this webinar series and the opportunity to meet all of you at this platform holds a special place in our hearts. For my children, schools have just reopened after summer holidays. In some other places, especially north, holidays are still not over. Indeed, this is one time of the year when parents get to spend more time with their children. However, I think as Burrett very rightly mentioned, the role of parents is very critical during this time of the year. And as much as parents want, it's very difficult for most of them to manage their work and yet stay at home and give company to their children during holidays. Especially in today's nuclear families, without day-to-day presence and support of grandparents or other extended family members, the problem only amplifies. And although we all agree that it's not the best option, very often children are spending most of their day with caregivers. However, we can still take out some time from our social media, mobile usage, and spend with them. Maybe something as simple as ensuring at least one meal every day with them. Maybe a house rule. Because normally they leave for school early in the morning, and by the time we are back from work, they've already gone to bed. So something as simple as one meal with them every day makes a lot of difference. So how do we still do our best as parents during these times? I think first and foremost, to me, what's most important is as a parent, discussing holiday plans with all family members, including children. Their wish list may be much simpler, but yet very different from what we want from them or what we ideally feel they'll enjoy. It might be something as simple as watching some holiday movies or learning to swim or cycle or baking a cake. Second thing is also equally important, involving ourselves in their activities, day-to-day activities, knowing what books they're reading, what movies they're watching, what games they're playing, and also help them develop interest, maybe inculcate, nurture new hobbies and interests, which will go a long way in their overall development, contribute a lot. I know it's easier said than done, especially with working parents, day-to-day pressure of work. The other important thing is, I think, teaching them to socialize, but not necessarily only through social media. Throughout the day, being glued to the screen, we all understand, we all agree doesn't help. So be it visiting neighbors, extended family members, close friends, or inviting them over to our place for a visit. Simple activities, be it storytelling, role plays, lot to learn, nature walks, be it music, arts and craft, outdoor sports. I think for children, what really matters is the opportunity to spend time with their parents. They really look forward to it. And considering the fact that they are quick learners, they really start aping their parents. And the other thing is, the other challenge, I think, when we discuss about holidays, also a few challenges naturally creeps in. And one very important thing is, every house has some house rules, be it in terms of dinner timing, be it in terms of when children wake up, and during holiday season, considering the fact that schools are not there, considering the fact that sometimes either children are visiting somewhere or some other guests are coming in, how do we still ensure that at least broadly these house rules are adhered to? I know completely adhering to them is difficult, but at least some sense of regularity. The other important thing is, I think, to me, it really matters to know that which are the activities or what are the things that brings joy. And on the other hand, what causes stress? For instance, something as simple as making the house look spotlessly clean looks good for neighbors, for friends to appreciate. It's important, but not at the cost of causing stress to those whom we love the most. If the little ones are always too careful or always on a panic mode to keep things in order, when will they learn to play and discover? As far as outstation trips are concerned, I think naturally very important, no doubt about it. Traveling increases exposure, confidence for the little ones, and of course helps them appreciate diversity in every sense of the term, be it culture, language, food habits. And the best part of it is that I think trips are more fun if parents are themselves taking care of their children without any house helps traveling with them. And naturally, very important that both parents share parenting responsibilities. However, when we discuss about outstation trips, taking vacations, whether in India or overseas, very naturally in today's social setting, especially with social media playing such an active role, very often performance pressure creeps in. Parents want to keep pace with other parents, be it at school or friends. But I think it's very important to exactly know what we want and not merely get influenced by peer pressure. Just because somebody took an overseas holiday, an expensive one, doesn't mean that next year we need to match up to it. And as I rightly mentioned in the beginning, very often what the little ones want from us might be something very simple, yet very beautiful, and it matters to them. The other thing is not having too much on the to-do list. So we are not out there to prove a point. We're not there to tick all the boxes. What's most important is spending some good time with them. So this is a really interesting topic. And I think what we really look forward to hear is to hear from our eminent panelists with decades of experience, their perspective on this, and educators' point of view, especially what they expect from parents. And I sincerely look forward to it. I thank all of you for giving me a very patient hearing. Over to you, Gauri.
Thank you so much, Achin, for those wonderful, wonderful deliberations. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to discuss this topic, we do have a wonderful panel lined up for you today. But before we start the panel discussion, a little bit about us here at Notebook. We at Notebook are an edtech platform that creates short videos pertaining to the school curriculum. This means that every topic from every subject of the school syllabus has been converted into a series of short videos that can be used in two different phases. One is when you as a teacher are starting out a topic in your classroom, you can play one of these videos as a method of visually introducing the topic to your students. These videos are just 6 to 10 minutes in duration and take up very little of your class time while offering the right kind of material to students to generate curiosity and excitement. The second is when the student is studying at home. Months later, they have access to the same video on their personal devices, be it a laptop or a smartphone. They can watch the videos over and over again until they get a very clear understanding of the topic that you had taught. What I'm going to do now is play you a mashup of the notebook videos so that you know what they exactly look like.
Hello students, welcome to Notebook. You might have heard of Mars Orbiter, mission MOM or Mangalayan. It is India's first interplanetary mission.
Thinking of oil, think of all the diesel and petrol that's made out of it for use as fuel in cars. So what makes these cars and trucks pollute the air? My friends, have you seen some vehicles emitting polluted gas from their backpipes? This happens excessively in vehicles running in busy cities.
In this stanza, the poet emphasizes on how unique Macavity is. He's a corrupt devil in the form of a cat. He can be found in common places like the bylanes or the square, but never at a crime scene.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a small part of some of our videos as you just now saw. We have today connected with over 3,500 schools and have had millions of students and teachers benefit from our videos. If you head over to our website, www.notebook.school, you would find such videos at your disposal. If you watch Notebook in your school, please get in touch with our sales team at vivek@notebook.school. With that, it is now time to introduce the wonderful, wonderful panelists that we have with us today. We have with us today Captain Dr. Dinisha Bhardwaj Singh, who is an Indian Army officer turned educationist. She is a PhD, management, law and physics graduate. Social work is her passion, and she is still extending support to various groups in Indore, Shillong, Delhi, and in Malaysia. She is a master trainer with CBSE and has authored and co-authored manuals on safety and security with GIIS, conducive learning, and with CBSE and pedagogical leadership with National Institute for Education and Planning and Administration in collaboration with CBSE. She has received 6 recognitions, medals, and awards from forces and 14 awards for her contribution in the sector of education leadership and social work from various renowned forums of India. After heading the Global Indian International School, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, for more than a decade. She's currently leading DPS Ghaziabad. Ma'am, a very, very good evening and welcome once again to the panel. Next we have with us, thank you ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have with us Dr. Ambika Prasad Gaur. Sir holds a BSc, MA in English, BA, MBA, PhD with over 30 years of experience in the field of education. He has worked as PGT Assistant Professor in Management Institution in Noida, educational consultants with Mr. Kailash Satyarthi in Delhi, and his principals in schools. He's presently working as principal at Hermann School, Varanasi, as a CBSE resource person training and nodal coordinator of G20 summit meetings in Varanasi. Sir has also authored more than a dozen of books in Hindi as well as in English. Sir, a very good evening, and it's a pleasure to have you back in the panel.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gauri. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. We have with us today the Rita Taneja, ma'am, Principal, MPS Jaipur, an educationist with 30+ years of experience in school education. She's an educator, principal, teacher trainer, researcher, mentor, and content developer for CBSE, resource person for CBSE and RBSE, QMS lead auditor. She's the treasurer of Jaipur Sahodaya School Complex, member of School Management Committee of said Hermann School, Subodh Public School, Rambagh, Jaipur, executive member in Department of Science and Technology, Rajasthan, member of the Core Committee on Jaipur Declaration, Making School Safe for Children in Rajasthan, ambassador for Clean India campaign, Jaipur. Her contribution in the field of education and social service has won many applause and felicitations, including President APJ Abdul Kalam and Latin Citizen Award, Life Empowerment Awards for Schools, Ambika Award Honors, Rotary Club, Lions Club, Exceptional Women Award from Women Economic Forum. Ma'am, a very good evening and welcome back to the panel.
Good evening to one and all, and thank you for your kind words.
Welcome, ma'am. We also have with us Mrs. Chhaya Chaturvedi, Principal, Bharti Krishna, Vidya, Vihar, Nagpur, Maharashtra. Ma'am holds a BCom, MA in English, BA. With over 27 years of teaching experience, she has been department head for more than 12 years and received Best Teaching Faculty in School, received Best Scriptwriter and Director Award in district level drama competition on environmental issues. Ma'am, a very good evening and welcome back to the panel.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Ma'am, if I can ask everyone to kindly switch on your cameras, please, and we'll start with the panel discussion. I will start with Chhaya, ma'am, if it's okay. Ma'am, my question to you would be how to best spend the holidays and do holidays refresh and recharge you? And what is your advice to the parents?
Yes, holidays are not just break from the work, but they are the celebration of life, love, and gift of time. Everyone, whether student or a teacher or any person working in corporate, everyone needs a holiday. And there are to spend holidays depends upon the availability and like budget and interest. Those who are interested in going for adventure, they can go for adventure, but there it's always not that going out is a solution. If you are spending time with your family, staying back at home, discussing with the children, spending quality time with the children, having constructive discussion and communication with the loved one, spending time, which I agree with Philip sir and Bhattacharyya sir, spending time with children, watching movies with them, being together with them, rather like throwing dinners for them, preparing recipe, giving them constructive work are the best way to the way we can spend our holidays. Many a time we do not get time to give for our hobbies. Here we can ask our children or ourselves also to indulge in such kind of activities which will give you a pleasure and enhance your hobbies. And like many of them do not get time to prepare for enhance their career. This is a time where they can go for short courses, enjoy what they want to do, and children can spend their time with the family. They can call their friends at home, spend a night out with them, but that should be monitored by the parents. They can watch movies together. They can teach children, like sir told, we need to give them homework, constructive homework, which they enjoy. In the school, we have given them tree plantation drive. Now they are going to plant a tree, and they are going to see the growth and write a report and send it to the teacher in the groups. These they love to enjoy. Girls can work in the kitchen. They can learn some recipes. These all were done by, we have given them as a constructive homework. And I believe rest is a need of everyone. The way they spend, and which give them a teaching also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I would next come to Ambika, sir. Sir, what would be your advice for the parents who are handling their kids during the holidays?
Yeah, thank you, Gagori. And thank you, Achin and the team of Notebook for giving me once again this opportunity. I think this is the 5th or 6th time that today I'm connecting with you people. And
Yes,
first of all, thanks to all of you. And once again, being honored on this virtual platform to be with the esteemed panel. Madam Chhaya Chaturvedi, Ma'am Rita, then Dinisha Bhardwaj, ma'am, and Philip sir. So all these are learned people, and definitely to be one of them is definitely a sort of great pleasure and pride to me. Gagori, so far is when I think 7 or 8 days back when you told me about the topic. So I really, was overwhelmed with the emotions. Well, this was the only notebook can think of such topics and at the nick of the time, because this is the time when holidays are going on. And in Varanasi, the holidays, the summer vacations have been extended, and there were, I thought it better to have the first-hand information from some of the children. So I talked to 5-6 children and to some parents also, and did come to know about some of the things, what the problems are there. The first thing that came across, the parent that, sir, you should not have extended the holidays. Actually, the holidays were extended by the district admission because of the prevailing heat wave conditions in Varanasi. And you must have read in the newspapers also, many people lost their lives also. But then anyway, but that was the complaint. Well, sir, it's enough because it's more than 1 month, and really we are fed up. Anyway, some of the parents are like that, who complain, and excess of everything is really, really bad. So I asked the children of that parent that what happened, what are you doing? So they did not say, yes, sir, it's all normal, and we want, this thing, that thing, and but the parents are somewhat nagging us, and they are always after us, always trying to tell us one or the other thing. We know each and everything. We are grown-up children. I mean, they were the children of class 7th, 8th, 9th, etc., etc. So, but then the parents complain. Parents complain was that whenever we are around, they are doing the work properly. But the moment we get away and we are out of their sights, they start fighting. The siblings start fighting, and they start working on their mobile phones. Even in case when we have left our mobiles around, they keep themselves busy on the mobiles. Then at will they are switching on the TV. At will they are fighting. At will means anything. All these sort of things are there. Another case, another parents. When I asked them that what is the problem with the children, or is there everything going on properly? So the complaint was that my child, gets up at about 5 o'clock and runs, with the bat and ball in his hand and goes, and then, he is not seen for quite long, and comes back many times just for the lunchtime, and again at about 4-5 p.m. again goes back there for playing cricket, etc., etc. In Varanasi, another complaint was there from another parent that the children, they want to go to the Ganges just to take bath and just to somehow, cool themselves down and all. And some of the ghats of Ganges, there are 80 ghats in Varanasi, and now 1-2 more ghats have been added here. So in that way, 82, 83 ghats are there. Ghats means the bathing spots. So there the parents are also worried that because frequent cases are there. many people are getting drawn in the gang is. So that is also another problem for the parent, that if child is definitely going with the friends, so we are generally not allowing. So I mean, these are some of the cases where I talk to the parents and the children, and then to some conclusions, as I suggested the parents also, and here also in this panel, in this virtual platform, I would like to tell the things which I suggested the parents. First of all, I told the parents, first of all, whenever the holidays are there, we have got the set patterns of the winter vacations, of the summer vacation, Dasara vacations, Deepavali vacations we have got, but summer vacation is the longest one in Varanasi. Winter vacations are there, but for about say 10 days and all, but summer vacation is the longest one. So once I told the parents that you knew about the things, that there will be 1 hour, one complete month, minimum 1 complete month vacation. So you should have planned the things properly. You should have planned the routine properly. So that first thing, the first role that I suggest to the parents for during these holidays is that they must plan the routines properly, and see the changes also once they know that the children are having their holidays from this date to this particular date. So they should have planned in advance that these were the things, or these are the things which are to be taken care of during the holidays, like visiting the parental houses. I mean grandparents, if grandparents are not there, so visiting them, visiting grandparents, then going to buas or mamas and other places, or just making sure that children are taken for an outing also, because children are children. They need the change. Everybody, like we adults also need certain changes. The children also need changes. They have got great expectations. So I requested the parents, and I suggested the parents, and I am suggesting through this virtual mode also, from this virtual panel also, I will be requesting all the parents, those who are connected, all the teachers, those who are connected, all the esteemed panelists also, that first thing that we must ask the parents, they must set the priorities, they must have their proper routine, and they must have the proper planning for the holidays. Once they already know, we know the almanacs are there, we know the calendars are there with the parents, they know each and everything, then why this gap is there? So it means the proper planning was not there. Secondly, when maybe in certain cases the parents are having some of the problems may also be there, that maybe that the guests are coming to them itself. ऐसा नहीं कि भाई इन्हीं को जाना है किसी के यहाँ guest बन के. Maybe that somebody else have planned to come to their houses as guest, and in that case they cannot go anywhere, or the father is not having the proper holidays, proper leave is also not sanctioned to the parents, to the father particularly. So in that case, I request the parents to make sure that the children are given the proper sleep time. What happens that during the holidays, the children, they are overexcited. So they don't know what to do. And for the last 5-6 years, we see that this prevalent social media, the children are busy on Facebook, they are busy on Twitter, they are busy on WhatsApp, they are busy on Instagram. And what they are seeing there in that Facebook reels, they are making the reels, they see the reels, and there are many reels, in fact, which are of very bad taste, and they are addictive. Once we keep on looking the reels, reels after reels, and there are all many time, mind-boggling also. So I request, or I suggest the parents that please make sure that children are kept away from the mobile phones. आप उनसे जो है बच्चों को और ज्यादा से उनको डाइवर्ट करो, उनको अच्छा कुछ खिलाओ पिलाओ, उनको जो है कुछ अच्छा उनका पसंद की बात करो, उनके साथ में कुछ टाइम स्पेंड करके उनके साथ कुछ प्ले करो. अगर आपके पास घर में है लूडो, सांप सीढ़ी वगैरह वगैरह, बहुत सारी चीजें थी हमारे टाइम में. अब तो एक तरह से जो है ऑब्सोलीट और आउट ऑफ फैशन भी हो रही है, बट स्टिल parents or mother particularly can have this sort of thing, rather than children focusing on mobile phones and other things. So this could be one of the strategy of the parents. This should have been planned by the parents, that how we are going to have some sort of indoor games with the children. Outdoor games, particularly in a place like Varanasi. I'm focusing on Varanasi because Varanasi's condition are somewhat still today also there are clouds around, but still heat wave is still there. So going outside also is very difficult. So I'm focusing on indoor games. So parents should have planned properly for these indoor games also for the for their kids. Then sleep time. Their sleeping time also, children's sleeping time. They should be asked to sleep properly, minimum for 7-8 hours every day. Because of this bad habit of indulging themselves in overindulging rather themselves in these social media platforms, these children, they don't think about having the proper sleeps. And what happens that they are not having proper sleeps, the next day they will be irritated, and again, there will be some sort of fights with the mother and others and the people those who are visiting, and even with the siblings. So this should also be taken care of. Then certain social expectations should also be set. I request the parents, I definitely tell everybody that we have to set certain social expectations also. Children do have got certain connectivity, or they have got certain proclivity, certain inclination towards the grandparents. Once again, I'll focus grandparents or the maternal uncles and the buas and other people. They want to go there, or at least they want to connect with them. In case if the people are not, if the parents are not able to take their children to those places, then at least the other people can visit their things. And children's, this is the time, this vacations, these holidays are the time when children should be exposed to the various social platforms also. If you have got the, though, unfortunately, the most of the people, most of the students have got the nuclear families now, but still there are other people, there may be the friends of the parents, there may be the distant relatives. So these are the times when the children can be taken there, or children, at least the other people can be invited to our residences for to have a chit chat with their students. Then I have already discussed about dealing with, Gagori, are you saying something? Are you
Yes,
stopping me
sir.
for the time?
No, I'm not stopping you, sir. Just thanking you. I thought you were stopping.
All right,
Hello?
okay.
No, sir. Is it
So,
okay to continue? Hello?
1-2 more points I would like to discuss.
Yes,
One,
sir,
two more
please,
points, Gagori. Right. During these vacation time, during these holiday time, parents can, or they could have, now the vacations are going, summer vacations at least are now about to be over. But still, whenever the vacations are there, the parents, they should encourage the children to read the books rather than focusing on all those TVs and mobiles and all. Books, particularly religious books. I must say religious books, because religious books are the books, which give us many things, particularly which are to be taught, the messages that the religious book gives, that should be our children, our young generation must be exposed to that. And the books on life skills, the books on value education, CBSE is also focusing on life skills and value education that much. So this should be there. And finally, one more thing I would like to add. This parents should plan for some sort of skill development of my children, right? Some sort of hobbies also, that the children should have been told, or children should have been exposed to, like playing guitar, joining some karate classes, joining some sort of violin and music and other sort of classes. So some sort of things should have been there, which will definitely help out, or which would have helped out the children in a better way. So these are some of the things. I'll again come back to you. It's over from my side for the time being. Thank you, Gagori.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come to Captain Dr. Dinisha Bhardwaj, ma'am, please. Ma'am, a very good evening. If you can switch on your camera, please, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much, Gagari. Yes, please.
Ma'am, I have one question for you. This is for like, what is your advice for parents who are dealing with kids from different age brackets? Like some will have toddlers, some will be in the teens. So everyone has a different, kind of handling. So how do we handle them?
what a time for power cut in my office. So I might be looking like a ghost to you right now.
No, not at all, ma'am. You always
Nevertheless,
look pretty.
thank you so much. That's what I wanted to listen to. But nevertheless, a very interesting question. The challenge is that we all go through this, yet the question remains as to how to tackle various age groups. Because one thing is that especially the one we have when we have first child, we take it as a gift and we try to enjoy the childhood without thinking that we are supposed to plan for the progress. Now, various age groups children should have, the parents should tackle, and how they should understand is that, in the beginning, when the child is small, say up to 2 years, 3 years or something, that is the time to give the best affection, the maximum affection to the child, so that there is a trust building which happens. There is a connect which is strengthened. Of course, the connect is strengthened when the child is born and brought home from hospital. But nevertheless, the trust building should happen in first 5 years or 4 years or something like that. And then simultaneously, we should start stepping back. Now, when I say stepping back, I don't mean that, you stop giving the love and affection or stop giving the care. But that is the time which most of us falter, where we need to start grooming the child and start empowering the child. So after 5 years of age, we need to start thinking as to what next we should do to make the child smarter. And this is the time where we should start touching upon habit building, grooming the child to develop good habits. Just said never say no. So instead of saying no, what we can do is we can appreciate good things. So automatically should learn, or would learn rather, what he or she would pick up, and what is a good habit and what is a bad habit. I remember when my daughter was small, I was posted there at Kashmir, and then I came back to Punjab. So she was the one who was permitted to play with one trophy. When my child was growing, everybody said, okay, the child is small, so okay, you can decorate your drawing room nicely. When the child will grow, you have to pick up all the crystals and everything, and you have to keep it at a higher place. So that was a learning for me that, oh, that will happen. So let me try this, that I don't have to do it. So how I developed, how I nurtured, oh, wow, you're playing with this, wonderful. This should not break. You should play with this. So we were appreciating, and then only there was one trophy which was metallic, a small thing which was kept in drawing room. She used to pick up, if at all she was to pick up something from drawing room, was that. She never touched the crystal, she never touched the crockery, nothing. Nowhere she touched anything which is breakable. So that was a habit building which I learned from those people. So here I would like to highlight that we need to learn from those people who are already experiencing that, how to address the age gaps and age groups. And then after habit building, when the child grows a bit, after 9 years, 8 years or 10 years, depending upon how we are dealing with the child, this is the time where we need to nurture discipline. Discipline of getting up, discipline of time management, discipline of how do you keep your dress clean, how do you become more independent. So these are the smaller values. Discipline should come in as a nurturing factor for smaller values. Because after this, after 10 years or something, it is a time for value building. It is time for understanding what you are, what is good for you, what is not good for you. So there we start nurturing value building. And here I would like to tell all the esteemed educationists here that value building happens in two ways. One is verbal, and second is by looking at you. It cannot happen that never tell a lie and you tell your child, pick up the phone and say that my dad is driving. So then this is pseudo value building. So we need to do actual value building. And this is the time now when we are growing up, the trust which you have built in your child, you got to nurture the child in such a way that he or she starts returning the trust to you, because child is around 12 years of age. The child should go out, what the child should do, what the child should not do. It is a time for nurturing the child or empowering the child to return the trust. Return the trust in honesty, return the trust in values, return the trust in standing for you, return the trust for understanding the value for money. And then people say you should be friend of your child for some time. After 12, 13, when the teen touches, the children become rebellious. They don't want to listen to you. Most of the children, we have also gone through teenage. We start thinking that our parents are our enemies. So this is the time you start being friend. But here also I would like to highlight one factor, ladies and gentlemen, that be the friend who is a true friend, who tells right thing to the child and not just keep appreciating. Appreciate and check accordingly, because being the parent, and this is the time when the teen starts, is you got to make child self-empowered for designing and thinking of his own goals. This is the time that child should start imagining and living with goals. And then the child should think, start to start walking along with you, shoulder to shoulder. The bonding, the freedom, yet being responsible. So now when the child is understanding that, okay, I have to do something tomorrow and I'm responsible for my own goals, then comes in a parent to nurture something which is called social intelligence and emotional intelligence. Again, returning of the complete circle, where you got to make your child rich in life skills. Love says make your child most comfortable, but the nurturing says make your child more empowered. Maybe you send him to the kitchen, maybe you ask him to change the bulb, maybe you ask him to clean the room. I remember when my little one was playing, we created a toy room and we used to call it Kheli room for her. And the Kheli room was decked up with all toys, toy curtains and all. And she used to call her friends and she used to make it so dirty. And then I said, okay, now it is, after that I used to keep snacks and drinks for them. But before that I said, do up the room. So all 4-5 of the friends who used to come, they used to keep the toys here and there. And then she used to make me close my eyes and go to the room. Now come and see how I decked up my room. So that also is empowering the child to taking care of your own assets. Another thing, 2 of the parents, if we are both the parents, then now the child is growing, touching 16, 17. It is the time to make your child understand that this is now his or her responsibility to stand tall in society. Sometimes he will listen to you, sometimes he or she will not listen to you. This is the time to play little hot and cold, because little diplomacy, little wisdom has to come in. Parenting is an art. It is a science. It cannot be just love. It cannot be just scolding. Somebody was writing in chat box, if the child does something wrong, should we scold the child? And I've responded that the child may not be scolded, but the child should understand that you are not happy with it. How you communicate your unhappiness or happiness, either way, it should be known to the child. And then finally, you should stand by the child. I just heard the gentleman speaking about that, we should also be partially changing with the children, because always all the generations will say that there is a generation gap. My children also say that there is a generation gap. So sometimes I share Instagram stories with them. Sometimes I tell them it is not good. Sometimes I check them. Sometimes I am with them. So, partially being in and out should make them understand that you are with them, but here till there. And after that, they got to close it. And then you walk with them hand in hand for ensuring that their goals are realized, giving them the facilities, but yet making them responsible that they are not nurturing and chasing their goals for you. They are chasing their goals for themselves. And last thing, people say, be friend to your child, be friendly to your child, but don't be friend to your child, be parent to your child. Child will get n number of friends, but the child should remember that you are a parent. You can fall back. The child can fall back to you anytime, yet that there is a trust factor which child has to return to you. There is a responsibility which child has to bear for tomorrow, and then yet you are there with them, friendly, not a friend, but friendly, trusting, and the trust to be given back. Parenting is an art, it is a science, and we got to switch from science and art so that the parenting actually happens. And despite all that, we all will face tidbits of things here and there, but then the best thing is be big and keep being with your children, even if they are not doing what you feel them to do. Still smile. Next day again come with a fresh connect, and because ultimately they understand. But all these stages of life we have crossed. Take the experience from what you have crossed, take the experience from what you have read, and ultimately make sure that together you and your child realizes the goals you have for them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those wonderful deliberations. Always a pleasure to have you. I would now next come to Rita, Taneja ma'am, and if we have this question in the chat box, question answer box. Ma'am, if you can start answering with the question, and then I'll take the question for you in particular, if it's okay. Meetu Tomar has asked she has some questions on holiday homework, I think. Why holiday homework aren't holidays for charging kids continuous pressure for completing homework spoils their holidays, she says.
Okay. Why the holiday homeworks are given? I think holiday homeworks is given so that the children do not get bored. And I think somehow it gives them a lot of direction so that when they are out maybe with their family, they can just be observant. They can see what life skills are being demonstrated when they're negotiating with their relatives and they're adjusting and adapting with the people who visit them or they are visiting. I think even when a child is visiting a tourist place, the kind of interaction he or she has with the people around in that tourist place also teaches them. And nowadays, the kind of holiday assignments that we are giving in our schools are all life skill based. They are all integrated. They are not what and whys. So they are a lot interesting and engaging and involving. So the holiday homeworks definitely, I think, are needed because the children should have some direction as to what to do in those 40, 45 days or 30 days. And somehow it keeps them very much focused. When they come back to the school, we don't have a child with whom we have to begin with, the chapter 1. So there is some focus given, some direction given, and fruitful engagement is provided to children. Not all families are lucky to have a month-long holiday. So definitely some kind of engagement is given, which is fruitful, which is learning oriented, and it keeps the children very engaged and involved.
Thank you, ma'am. Just another question. This is a very important question, I think. How can we spend time with the children with special needs or with hyperactive children meaningfully? That's the question. If you can just take this, ma'am, please.
The children who are very hyperactive are the ones who have a lot of energy. And as educators and as parents, we should be able to understand how to channelize the energy of the children. We should be able to provide engagement for them, which is meaningful, which is purposeful, and they learn something during the engagement. It may be an emotional connect. It may be something that they learn in the psychomotor domain, but affective, psychomotor, cognitive, all the domains can be addressed if the person who is the care provider knows how to engage the child. The goals should be very small, specific, doable, relevant, so that the children with special needs are able to use that interaction or opportunity to learn as a life skill. Definitely, they may not be doing very well in academics, but to move on with their life and to make every activity a learning activity and a step towards accomplishing their life. I think it's very important that the caregivers are also given orientation as to how to engage the children, either with the special needs or the children who are hyperactive. They are the ones they need just channelization. Otherwise, it can become a problem for the child life if the caregiver is not given the proper orientation or does not know how to engage them.
Thank you, ma'am. So thank you so much for those. Now I will take my question. Ma'am, what is the idea of how does it work when we leave our kids with their grandparents during the holidays? And how important is that? And what are the pros and cons, you think?
Grandparents, my dear, are a blessing for every family. I really wonder when the grandparents are not there, the children are missing so much. Grandparents are irreplaceable in a family ladder. And I think if I could just, I don't know how to sum it up. It's a beautiful relation that I think each child should go through that experience. Our grandparents, I'll relate to my own grandparents. For me, my grandparents were, I think, family historians, mentors. They were my playmates. They nurtured me, my children, everybody around. And I think they were the role model. They were the confidants who we could rush to and say what we did wrong or naughty. So the grandparents are our greatest advocates. Whenever you want to do something against the wishes of our parents, I think it's the grandparents who come to the rescue of the students. They are the advisors. In fact, they can be termed as a surrogate parents. So they are the ones who provide the scaffolding that is needed in today's dynamic world, when the entire, the parents are rushing through their careers and their lives. And I think the practical knowledge which is imparted by the grandparents, the dadi and nani ke nuske is so well known to all of us. They have such rich experience. When they share it with the grandchildren, the children can be taught life skills. They can, I think it's so much more. They are the reservoirs of knowledge and experience and wisdom. And in fact, they also give us, give our family a lot of stability. They are the connect between generations. They tell us our family history. They show us the heirlooms. They share the stories, which can give so much to the child. They can add value to the character of the student, the child. They can provide support to the young parents. And I think the kindness that each grandparent has, the empathy to listen to the child when there is no one to hear them out. And sometimes just being heard by somebody with a kind ear solves the problem, builds up your emotional quotient, reduces the stress in this life of a young child. And somehow I think all the morality, the values can be just passed on because the grandparents have such rich experience. They themselves have gone through the pros and cons of their lives. So they can guide a child with a very positive perspective and with a very compassionate heart. They can lead the child to be peaceful and to think about the child. I think every child has a very great sense of accomplishment when they go and tell or narrate something to a grandparent. If the grandparent is kind enough to hear them out, that pride can be maintained, giving them great confidence. And sometimes when they do something wrong, the grandparents can act as a psychological counselor by wiping away their tears, and values and culture, of course, of the family remain intact when you have a grandparent at home. Even the parents keep their volumes low, and they are also very conscious of what they speak in front of the parents. So the image of the family, the support, the concept of family, I think, remains intact when you have elders around you. The culture of the family, the food that the ancestors had, the way they have been dressing in the past, the changes, all can be passed on so beautifully without any stress to the younger children for them to carry on and become the torch bearers of the family and the culture. Slowly our mother tongues are disappearing. We are all caught up in the globalization so much that we only speak the common language of English now as a connect. So somewhere the native language, the songs, the folklore, all is kept intact by the presence, by just the mere presence of the grandparents. Because definitely the interactions, they learn so much. They are huge, huge, huge blessing. I think there should not be any family without the grandparents. And they somehow reinforce also the good patterns of the child, because they feel very proud of them. They are the primary caregivers. So they give love, affection. I think it's beautiful, the relationship. I'm so happy that you've taken up this topic. Nobody would have thought the role of grandparents in this diminishing modern life and the dynamics that we are all living in. It's so important for us to realize the importance. And in fact, when the child is with the grandparents, they're sensitized towards the old age. They also develop compassion, empathy, and sharing, caring, love is also taught without doing a single activity. I think the kind of life skill and soft skills that are needed now can easily be learned at home if the presence of the grandparents. So for me, the grandparents are a very important connect for the child to the real world and to the past of the family. And the child can learn a balanced approach as he or she grows up in this it's totally ever-changing world. So I think they somehow anchor us down and keep us grounded.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Beautiful input. Beautiful input. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, all my panelists, Dinisha ma'am, Ambika sir, Chhaya ma'am, Rita ma'am, everyone. And I would like to call back Achin for the vote of thanks, please.
A wonderful session, Gaur, I must say. Very seamless. But sir, thank you as always for giving us a great start. Chhaya ma'am, a wonderful deliberation, very balanced and very mature. Dr. Ambika Prasad Gaur, thank you so much, sir. Especially for your words of appreciation, really means a lot to us with regard to the topic. And I would also like to request you and all other panelists and esteemed guests here. This is your forum. So in case if you have any suggestion with regard to topics that you want us to take up, please reach out to us. We'll be very happy to take them. Captain Singh, thank you so much, ma'am. I think very beautifully you explained the whole concept of generation gap. Our pleasure, ma'am. And especially the need to change with time. So I think instead of tripping about generation gap, I think it's equally our responsibility as well to take a step forward and to see to it that we do understand our little ones better. Rita, ma'am, I think very beautifully you explained the role of grandparents. Couldn't agree with you more. I think this is one of the excellent takeaways of today's session, no doubt. So I thank all of you for your words of wisdom, for being with us, and for sharing this platform. I also thank all our esteemed guests here today, evening, for being with us. We look forward to your continued support in the sessions to come. Thank you, take care, and goodbye.
Thank you, all of you. Goodbye.
Thank you.